Welcome to the Reality Check podcast. I'm Zachary Phillips. So in today's episode, I'm interviewing a friend of mine, Fred Saleeba. Now, I sprung this interview on him, so he's a little bit nervous, and some parts of the interview, I think, show a little bit of that, but that's completely fine because his message is pure and lovely. Basically, he shares a story of him traveling overseas and basically following his dreams. He sort of found himself stuck in a little bit of a rut with work and home life and had always wanted to travel, but basically never had the capacity within himself to do so. After reading a couple of books that I'll link to and that we discuss in the podcast, he got up the courage and spent over a year, almost a year and a half in Sweden. Sort of set up a lifestyle over there and made new friends and started that traveler's journey. He realized once he was in Sweden that he had basically fallen back into the same idea of a home rut. So he needed to travel and continue the traveler's journey from there. And this has led him to discovering his passion. And the passion is basically vagabonding, moving around to different ideas, not having a home base and just exploring the world. This podcast goes pretty deep in the sense that he opens up in quite a vulnerable manner, to be honest, about things that go beyond just traveling, but into his newfound sense of self, his ability to now make friends with males as opposed to just with females that he struggled with growing up, and a whole bunch of other little things that I found quite endearing in the interview process. So like I said, check it out, have a listen, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, so I've got Fred here on the podcast. Basically, this is a bit of an impromptu interview. We sort of just jumped on board and got you in, which is good. Basically, the reason I want to share your story with the listeners is that you've done something that I don't see a lot of people doing. You've started following your dreams, and it's not just a little thing. It's for what most people would consider fairly big. You were in a similar career, well, the same career as my wife, myotherapy, and then you decided to sell your business and travel overseas for 2 years?
18 months.
18 months, living in Sweden for the most part, and then some extra travel. And you've said that this has basically started to change your outlook on life and, sort of, what did you say, travel's now the thing that you haven't got the travel bug, you are the travel bug.
Yeah. So,
please, just give me a little bit of a backstory of, what you did in Sweden, how you survived and what you learned, and we'll have a bit of a discussion about this and dig deep. What do you think?
Yeah. So, pretty much first off I started with 4 weeks travel with a couple friends.
Yep. Like a European tour.
Yeah. For them it was, they had 6 weeks and I was like, their European tour, 6 weeks. Boom. I think
so it was like a flash tour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, honestly, a bit too intense, too structured.
Yep.
Like
going here,
everything planned out more or less. For me,
not good.
Not the sort of travel. I got a bit stressed out towards the end.
Sure.
Got to Sweden, which was planned because I had my working holiday visa.
Yep.
And got there and I was like, kind of done. Like, I need a holiday from this.
I haven't
even I came in, I didn't have any accommodation, I didn't know anyone, no jobs, nothing.
So you landed in Sweden with your suitcase, basically, and some cash.
And my friends were there. Hey, okay, bye. Good luck.
So let's just, I'll ask you the questions as we go, because I'm a fairly anxious traveller. I like doing it, but the planning and the preparation, and it stresses me, right? So you arrive, they leave, you're on your own, you've basically got no one there. You can call people over the internet and they're like, 8 hours, whatever, delayed.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
10 hours.
10 hours? How do you describe that first day of just being alone? What do you do?
Well, the first day I was
jet lagged, probably.
No, not jet lagged, because we'd been over in Europe for 6 weeks, 4 weeks, but it was more just exhaustion from traveling too fast.
Yep.
I just rested. But then I was like, okay, so I started looking for jobs.
So okay, just I just
Yeah,
want to backtrack.
So go on.
You arrive. There's no accommodation.
Yep.
How do you find the accommodation?
So we'd stayed in we'd already set up hostels for when we were there.
So you had your friends there for 2 weeks, so you had hostels planned for 2 weeks.
No. So we were only in Stockholm together for like 2 days or 3 days or something. So we had that accommodation set.
Yep.
After that, had nothing.
Okay.
Ended up finding...
For someone like me, I'm like, what?
Well, first, I was looking at before I left, and I was like, do I try and plan, or... I tried to look for jobs. I had no idea how to do it before.
You're not in country.
I'm not in the country. Yeah, I mean, also Swedish.
Yep.
Like, is it in English,
they
Swedish?
Don't speak
like
English? Or
do I look for a job in massage, or do you know?
Yep.
And it was also the accommodation. Like, I don't know. I just realised, let's just wing it when we get there. Like, there's no chance I could have figured it out beforehand in my perception of it.
So you thought it was, you couldn't, you realised that you couldn't work it out, so you may as well just get there, be on the ground, and see how
and just see what, like, just, I don't know.
Were you
Let's
nervous?
go for it. Oh, hell yeah.
So how did you
the
push
joy of
through that? You said that's the joy of it.
Yeah.
How do you push through
I mean...
that? Yeah.
Well, I sat there and I was like, okay, when it's like, shit, I didn't even have like resumes printed. I don't think that they were even updated at that point. Like, I was like, I didn't even think of this part. So I remember I sat in a hostel, like looking this up, and I started going to a few places for accommodation. Some of them were a bust. Like,
I'm assuming you had a bit of a bank of cash to survive, or
what I had left was about $1,000
Aussie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's it's not that much, but it's not nothing.
I mean, cost wise, it's about the same as Australia.
Okay, so not the most.
Yeah. I ended up having to ask a little bit more from my parents.
Yep.
Because what I did was I was trying, like, I couldn't get the job and the accommodation as quickly as I was keen on, and I decided, like, someone mentioned doing some volunteer work.
Yeah. So
I ended up going up north to do some volunteer work, which took 24 hours to get there. Because a nice long country, buses and all that stuff. And yeah, stayed there for 2 weeks. But then I realised it was kind of like, I was enjoying it, but I felt like I was escaping the fact that I wasn't succeeding in Stockholm and I hadn't found the job and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I go like to another part of Sweden or this? And I felt, no, like, if I go somewhere else, I feel like Stockholm's conquered me. You know, like.
So it's like you had the determination, like, no, I'm gonna get this.
Yeah, I had to go back and I had to find something. So I ended up finding some temporary accommodation.
Yep.
Somewhere, and I started, like, it was like a month or two in a share house. Started looking for work, but I think it was like, got back in July, so a month after I arrived. So I arrived like start of June, and then, like, it took me about a month to find work. It was one because I had, like, my work experience had been working in like bottle stores, like vintage cellars and things like that. So, you know, specialized wine.
Yep.
Knowing good knowledge, but also like the massage stuff. So I was looking at massage, but then like restaurants and bars.
Service industry.
But the thing is, I didn't have specific restaurant or bar service work.
Yep.
And also not having worked in Sweden before, you had like all these extra loops.
Yep.
And being in the middle of summer season. So summer people that already looked for...
They've already got
their summer employers.
What did you end up getting?
And then also, like, out of, like, all the Swedes leave Stockholm during summer.
Oh, do
so
they?
A lot of places where it was their dead season. So it was either like the high season for the tourist people, but they'd already got their job. The other people were like, wait another month or two. So pretty much I had to wait for that, and then I found a job at a restaurant, and actually stayed there for the rest of my stay in Sweden in the end.
Nice. So you stayed there 18 months?
No,
sorry.
So I've been pretty much 16 months, I think, because I did the month beforehand.
Yep.
And the like 3 3 weeks afterwards. So I was away from Australia for 18 months.
Okay, so like about a year and a half ish.
Yeah.
So did you go to Sweden planning on staying there that long? Or was it just sort of like,
So
like you said, just go there and see how you feel?
Well, what I actually thought, I remember saying before, I was like, I'm going to be going overseas for 2-3+ years.
Yep.
Initially, I was like, yeah, you get the working holiday for a year and then probably go to another country and then,
Work
see
around.
how we go. Maybe I got there, I want to come back to Australia. Kind of like a few months in, I was like, no, I'm not coming back for a while.
Yeah.
Like, didn't plan on coming back for at least 3 years. And once I really got in the rhythm of Sweden, I decided I wanted to stay for longer.
Yeah.
I think part of it was because if you stayed for 5 years, get a citizenship pretty much,
Nice.
and then you can travel wherever you want in Europe. Like, you get the flexibility.
Nice.
Whereas it's hard because you get these working holidays for the country specific.
Yes.
I could have gone elsewhere in Sweden, but I couldn't go and work in France or wherever I wanted in Europe.
Yep.
A European citizen. So I had this massive focus on the citizenship rather than
the travel. You described prior to recording that you almost got yourself into a rut of working in Sweden. It's sort of like you started off as a holiday, became almost like where you were living, and then you needed a holiday from your holiday, so you needed to travel from that because you sort of felt too restricted by or too much settled in Sweden, if that makes sense.
Yes, I mean, like, I did a bit of travel. I didn't do as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because, like, as you say, you get into your routine and you're working, and you've got your weekends that you honestly just want to relax rather than travel. But then,
so did you find yourself getting into a routine almost like similar to what you had here?
Yeah, definitely.
Over there,
definitely.
and that
some people are like, oh, you went and travelled, like, how, like, amazing travel. It's like, well, I set up a new life there. Challenge in itself and amazing in itself. Yeah.
Lots of lessons learned, but it's
probably not what I set out for. And this is where, so I decided that I wanted to finish, realised I wanted to go to keep travelling. So I'm going to go to South America in a couple months.
South America's your next journey.
Focusing on Chile.
Yep.
Because of friends that I got that, I don't know, drew me there. Another story. But pretty much once I realised that, I was like, okay, so I decided I'm going to go back to Australia and have a couple months. But before that, I really need to just go and travel around a bit more of Europe. I haven't seen enough as I wanted to.
Yep.
Give myself 3-4 weeks and
explore a bit.
Yeah.
So I want to dig down on that just for people listening. The basic summary is you went traveling.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to sort of explore and find, and
mm-hmm.
then you found yourself sort of almost setting yourself back up as a stable, secure base in a different country, which is great for a while. But then you realize that was happening, and you're like, well, I don't like this. Your goal is to travel more. Your goal is to live that sort of vagabonding lifestyle. Yeah. So then you went on holiday from your holiday.
Well, it's basically not really a holiday.
Yeah, you say this.
No. I'm saying the holiday I'm saying the 3 weeks travel. It wasn't a holiday. It was just a it was what I was meant to do. I don't know. It was like
a calling.
I wouldn't call it a holiday though. It was like travel.
So
I don't know. So
let's get yourself into your mindset from say 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
You seem like a completely different person to how you were, or at least you've now got a very strong passion that you didn't have in terms of both your what you're passionate about and also your level of passion itself. Yeah. If that makes sense. You had the myotherapy massage business, but you weren't, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't seem that, it's not like this is the best life calling ever. Whereas now...
I always had the time when I was doing it going, I'm doing this for a couple of years so I can go travel. Okay. But then it went out longer than I planned. And this was going into this stuck society of do more and go to the next step. I originally left school when I was like, okay, I'll go for my gap year.
Traveling
gap year. And I was like, well, I don't have money. So I'll do a year at uni and then save up some money while I'm doing that.
Yep.
And then have a gap year then. Got a year in, I was like,
Still don't have
no, it wasn't the money. It was, if I do that, I won't come back and finish my studies.
Okay.
So I finished my studies, and I was like, okay, I'll do it afterwards. Oh no, I might as well just start a bit more work and then get some more money. 4 years after that, like after 3 or whatever, a couple of years after uni, I was like, my dog died. And I was like, if I get another dog, I'll be stuck here for long. There'll be another excuse why I'm not living.
There's always an excuse, right?
And I went, like, horrible, like, really sad that he died. But I went, I guess I needed this to be, not a reason, but, like, a justification of it. And I went, I have to learn from this, And I just went, I'm leaving early next year, done.
Nice.
And that's, I figured out the money to be like that. I didn't have much money,
But
I figured it out. Like,
yeah, I think this is something that I like to talk about a lot, is the idea that the lights are never always green. So the basic concept is, for you or for anyone who hasn't really sort of looked into it, is that you wanted to travel. So we'll use your example. You didn't have money, and then you had the school, and then you had the dog. There's all of these reasons that...
Well, someone's sick, or...
Yeah, exactly. There's all of these reasons that won't... You might conquer a couple of them. You might get the money.
Yep.
Your family might be cool with it, but then you've got, your massage business is picking up.
Yeah. This is, honestly, that's one thing Maria's wife was saying just before when I decided. I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. And she was like, it's like the worst time. Like, it's just as your massage business is like really picking up. Like, you're making money on this now. And I was like, I think I said exactly that too. I was like, it's never going to be right. Like,
it's never going to be
there's
right.
always going to be something that's, pulling you back. And I was like, but I need to do this. And I've always known this,
So let's say someone's listening and their goal might not be to travel. It might be to do, like for me, it's writing books and whatever the goal is. And let's say they know their goal and they're going, well, I've got these 5 reasons. And like my response is like, well, it's never, let's say prior to this, I could have said to you, the lights are never all green, and explained this concept to you. But it took, your dog passing, something traumatic, something that sort of, I suppose that was almost like it did free you up from some responsibility in a sense. But what advice would you say to someone that's got a dream that they're not pursuing because of XYZ problems? And obviously everyone's problems are going to be different, but what would you suggest to someone?
I mean, obviously, as you're saying, there's certain things that are, like real responsibilities that you feel you have to, but at least don't put it as a endless goal. If you're okay, if you've ever read the book Vagabonding, they put this as a really good example. So they talk about how there's these 2 monks that, they put vows to not be able to. They're not allowed to travel.
Yeah.
So they're like,
Yep.
They trick themselves and say, hey, let's go in the summer and then let's go in the winter. So they never do it.
So
if you
the book is just to fill people in. It's Vagabonding by Rolf Potts and. Yeah, so the 2 monks are in a monastery and they're always saying in the next summer we'll travel, and then when summer comes, in winter we'll travel, and then the next time comes and they're constantly telling them they'll travel in the future.
Really putting in the future because there's something in the way. If there's something in the way, go, okay, when that is done, let's do it, like put a set date in there. Don't, okay, actually in there, like for example, when I did, I was like, okay, February, March, on this date, done. No excuse,
because there will be new excuses.
Because there will be excuses.
So how do you? How do you
just make yourself accountable as well?
You set yourself a date, and then new things come in and try and stop you.
Yeah.
Do you just ignore those things, or do you just accept some things? Just there's going to be friction, and I guess
it depends how much you really want it. Like for me,
how much you want it? Yeah.
I was pushing it back for so long, and it was the final thing where I was like, okay, no matter what happened, I need to go. Like, you can't push back any further because I know that. I mean, honestly, going through a lot of mental health issues for it when I was here. I didn't realise it at the time. But you just need to be true to yourself. Like, and if you really want it, you need to do it. Like, I don't know how to.
Maybe let me try.
Yeah.
You're basically saying that it got to the stage that you realised you wanted it so bad that the lights, in fact, weren't going to stop you. You sort of like the momentum behind it built up so much that you just like, stuff this, I've just got to go.
Yeah.
So let's come back to you coming back home.
Yeah.
And you've described a little bit of hesitation or fear or worry that you'll get stuck, fall back into old habits in the sense, not that they're bad habits, like, but it's more that it's very easy to fall back into an old life. You know, you come home, your old friends are here, you could pick up your old job, your family's here, and it's sort of like you could easily just slot back into where you were, and then you're sort of like, that sort of worries you, am I right?
Yeah. It did. And I realised as soon as I came back, what I had was definitely not what I needed.
What do you mean,
now?
sir?
Like, for my personal, like, I still see my really close friends and it's different. But for example, like, growing up and all the time I had a lot of female friends. And as soon as I moved overseas, majority were male friends. And as soon as I came back, I was like, catching up with Maria, a couple other friends, and I was like, I'm enjoying this, but I was like, I just want to go out for a beer with some guys, you know, and ended up like, it's just like I need this, like, this is what I need, like, and it's not just beer, but you know, like, it's just this aspect, for example, you know, like, I didn't really have before, like, I'd stay at home, do this, and I met up with you guys the other day. Caught the train home. I went in the city and I was like, I'm going to go for a beer. I don't have to meet anyone. Like, it'd be nice. Went to one pub, had a few beers. No one was talking. Like, they were in their own circle. Walked home. And I had this thought of, maybe it's like, maybe I can't do this. Maybe, like you were saying, this fear, like, of being able to achieve your goals, like, will I just fall back into this because I can't make these friends, you know?
In Australia, or
just inject, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
the crisis of confidence.
I was like, how do I make this? Like, I want this, but what happens if I can't get it? You know? Ended up going past this bar, and I was like, actually, I need to pee. Like, I'm not going to make it home. Went for a piss, and then went, fuck it, I'll have a beer. And then sat down, and this guy came and sat down. He was like, can I sit? And I was like, yeah. And we just started chatting away. It turned out he just flew in from England, like, that night. And, he's going to be here for 5 months. Similar sort of path that I've been on. I felt like, I don't know, it just reminded me, like, even like, for example, these sort of music bands that I've started going to in Sweden. And I was like, I don't know how to get into that.
Into that genre.
He was like, my friends are going to make, like, wanting me to come to this thing on Sunday. And I was like, that's exactly what I've been figuring out how to do. Weird coincidence? I don't know. But I was like, I approached this guy.
You've taken the confidence that you got.
I didn't have before.
You've brought it back with you.
And I wanted it so much that I just was like, honestly, I'm not the same person.
That's definitely what
I
I've
will
seen
still feel the goal. Feel the void that I felt, you know, like, of not having those friends or whatever. I can feel that, you know. Honestly, I went to a different country and built up this whole life for myself. I can do it in my own country. Like,
yeah, I was going to say this because, like, let's say you go overseas, you've got an opportunity to effectively reinvent yourself. Yeah. So, like I'm here. I'm me. I've got my own friends. I've got my own routine. I've got myself, and I've got myself sort of quote unquote set up. Whereas if I was to go overseas, or even to a different, like just out of state where no one knows me,
Yeah.
I've got an opportunity to become someone different.
Yeah.
And sort of you're saying you became, or you found more of yourself, or you got that confidence or whatever.
All of the above.
All of the above. And you brought it back and you're like, well, will that last back here?
Yeah.
And
that's the thing, whether you fall back into your routines or not.
And not just routines, fall back into your old self.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's what the fear you're saying is.
Yeah, and honestly, I told some people and they were like, come on, don't be ridiculous. Like, you can't do that. And people can tell you these things, but you can't know for sure until you've experienced it yourself, you know? Because it depends, one, what the changes are and what you're looking at, you know? Obviously, certain things you will fall back into.
Yes.
You know?
Of course, well, you have to by default of coming back somewhere.
But I guess it depends what parts matter for you, or...
Do you think that this, like, you know, it is a drastic change, and yeah, you did fall into, you know, working in Sweden and that sort of stuff, but it's still a massive change, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that process was a journey of self-discovery in some
100%. Like, yeah.
I think that, God. Sorry. I feel that there has been a big change from you. You seem just from before and after you've got a level of self-assuredness that you didn't have, and sort of like a strong goal or a strong direction. You've got dreams that you want to follow. It's like you've come back and you're going, well, or you're already planning your next trip. You've set the date, or you've set it, you know, like a month, right? Yeah. And then you're gone, and that's great. Whereas it's something that I see a lot of people, and I see a lot of people just sort of going through the motions of life. Yeah, and they'll sort of like, you know, get the job, stay in the job, get the promotions, get the car, get the house, get the family, stay in the, like, and they
they're doing
follow.
It not.
They sort of
not what they want necessarily.
Well, some people do.
Some people do. But, exactly.
And that, like, there's separate groups. Like, I see separate groups, and some people, like, that's their dream and that's their goal. But the issue that I have, that I was living, by the way, was I was sort of going. Yeah, well, this is exactly my point. This is why I wanted to talk to you, is because I was going through these processes of, well, I'll get I got a full-time job, and then when I couldn't stay at the first teaching place, I'm like, well, I've been working full-time and I've got the house and the car, so I'm going to go to the next full-time job. And I sort of stuck with it. And then I got to a school that I was not enjoying, and it was sort of so bad that I'm like, really saw how terrible it was. And I decided to leave. Yeah. And my income level more than halved. And a whole bunch of stuff happened, but it's led me down a path that has distinctly less money and distinctly less typical goals, but it's more happy. And then I now look at people that aren't happy in their jobs and aren't enjoying their lives. And when you take an objective look, they could make some changes, but it's a fear of change. It's a fear of difference. It's like, well, what if I don't get the money? What if I, you know,
people are
what if bad stuff happens?
Being afraid as well. Afraid of being different as well in some ways.
100%. And I was going to address that as well. And I'll say it with myself, like, going down the path that I'm going down, people are like, well, when are you going to go back to full-time work? You know, you've had your little play. I'm like, well, I don't know if I will. Yeah. You know, I'll make this work. I'll make what I'm doing happen. You know, in the same way what you're doing, like, I couldn't do what you're doing because it's not my personality, it's not my goals, but I respect the push to go down a path that is you. You know, and if your path was like,
true to yourself,
100%, and I've got friends that are like, they want to rise to the top of their business and earn the big money, and that's them. And it's like,
but as long as it is them, and not society.
No, and it so is. Exactly. And I'm like, I've picked at them, and I'm like, sure, is this you? And they're like, no, and they full go into depth, and I'm like, okay, I fully appreciate that. Get after it, like, you know, enjoy. Like, I hope you get the CEO position, the big money, and all that sort of stuff, because it's so you. But what gets me, and what I think causes a lot of distress and a lot of mental problems, is this incongruence between what you're doing and where you want to be. And I think that's sort of where you found yourself in before you left both here to travel, and then when you're in Sweden and you sort of realised you were falling back into the rut.
It was quite funny when I had that, and then I went for 3 weeks travel, I came back for 2 days in Sweden to pick up my stuff, to say final goodbyes to my awesome friends. And one of my best mates, he goes, like, man, you're a different person. Like,
After the 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like...
What's happened?
Like, he was on his last couple of days at this work as well. Like, the same work we were doing. And it was like, oh, man, this person's annoying me, this. And I just sat there, I was like, well...
Leave.
It doesn't matter. Like, you're leaving. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? I don't care. Like,
None of this matters anymore.
whatever. Like, cool. They're doing this. Like, cool. He looked at me and was like, man, you're really annoying me. You don't care at all. Like, what's going on with you? And he was like, but he also was like, he could see that, like you were saying, that that feeling of I was being torn between what I want and what I'm doing. You know, like, I think for me, I also got confused between travel and living overseas. Like,
Yes.
I was living in Sweden.
Your goal is to travel, not to live permanently in another country.
Maybe one day, but at this stage.
Your goal right now.
Yeah. And I was sitting there going, well, I'm living overseas and I'm here, so I should be happy. And I'm like really connecting with these people. I don't want to leave them. But I also want to travel, and this job's annoying me, but like, I love the job, but
And you're overseas, so that's surely the right thing.
And I came back and he was like, honestly, like, even a few days into the travel, I messaged him. I was like, man,
This is what I want to be doing.
this is what I want to do. When I go to Chile, I'm not settling in one place. Like, yes, I might do some work here and there, like a couple months. Or
I mean, you still got to practically get by.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But like, or volunteer work or whatever. Like, but I don't want to sit in a place for a year or even 6 months. Like,
You don't want to settle.
No.
You want to keep exploring.
Because I was just like, this is what I want. Like, I was 2 days in this, and I was like, man, and he's like, well, I'm good. I'm glad for you because, like, it's just, you know, I was like, yeah.
And this
Came back, like, lifted, and I came back, and I was like, I couldn't stop smiling. Like, man, I'm coming back
You're
here.
still smiling.
And I was, coming to Australia, I was like, I was okay with coming back because I knew what I really wanted. Even before I went on that travel, I was dreading coming back. Got onto the travel, I was like, it's okay coming back because I know what I want.
Yes.
And I know this is what I want, and I will forever be chasing what I want.
I want to drill down on that this concept of now that you know what you want.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the battle is that there's people have this sort of like unsort of specified goal, and it's sort of like this feeling of discontent.
Yeah.
But it's not a direct like this is wrong. Whereas if they find themselves a goal, if they have like you've now got you're going to travel indefinitely.
Yeah.
That's now you know that passion.
Yeah.
Prior to that, you had this feeling of discontent, this feeling of unease.
And I knew I wanted to travel. I knew I wanted to travel, but I didn't know to what extent.
100%. And now you know. Something you brought up, this idea of your dream versus your reality.
Yeah.
I think people get stuck in this idea of like they might have a dream or have this goal or have this life. You know, you thought you were going to be like, let's say living in Sweden. You're like, oh, I thought this is it. Why aren't I happy? You said that just before. Why aren't I happy? I think people get stuck in this idea of like, well, I've got the thing that I wanted. Why aren't I happy? And they sort of double down on it and try and do it more. And I think that's the wrong approach. Whereas what you seem to have done and what I try to do is let's just constantly rethink to yourself and go, well, is this right now what I'm happy with?
Yeah.
You know, like let's say you do get to Chile and you decide to, you travel around and you're like, actually, I would prefer to do another 6-month stint living in one spot.
Yeah, maybe.
You can change.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing holding you back other than your ego saying, well, I got it wrong.
Yeah.
If you can admit that.
Exactly. This is what like people are like, oh, what are you going to do? What do you like? I don't know. And I honestly, I'm at this stage, I'm realizing I don't want to overplan it because for me, that's what makes it worse. When I go, okay, I want this or I want to do this in this place that I don't know. Well, I don't know yet. And I need to be, I'm okay with that now. And I will forever try and plan anyway. Like that's what I do in my head. I sit there going, oh, what if, yeah, my mum called me the what if kid as a kid. Like, you know, but I need to think about them, but not over plan it. For me,
Finding that balance is key, right?
yeah,
Because I know myself, I would be quite anxious about it, but you're sort of describing, well, the anxiety exists, but you've learnt to push through. You've learnt to just accept a level of unknown, and that's just what it is, and that's part of that's almost maybe this is maybe this is you've realized there is an unknown to the lifestyle that you want, and that's part of the fun, and that rather than being the unknown being bad, it's actually exciting. It's actually fun. Like you would go out somewhere, you might meet someone, that person might become an awesome friend. Yeah, you might not meet anyone. Yeah, it's unknown. Yeah, either way, it's good.
But either way, every connection you make is a connection that impacts you, good or bad. Even if you don't realize it, might be minimal. It affects you and them, and it's like it makes you who you are and keeps you going. It doesn't,
every connection impacts both of you, and
and so it's
you're wanting to make as many connections and as many
not as many connections, but it's if you come at it if you come to them, like you're saying, whether it's make you a good friend or whatever, it's just making that if you make it, that's awesome.
Make the connections.
Yeah,
I like that.
I don't know. It's
You described before that when you were in Australia prior to traveling, you mainly had female friends.
Yeah.
And then when you traveled, you mainly had male friends over there.
Yeah.
Like platonic.
Yeah.
What do you think is the reason why that gender split?
Well, I think because as a kid I did a lot of ballet, and in retrospect, enjoyed it, but I think it made it difficult to really understand boys.
Yep.
And also made it difficult with girls as well, on a sexual level, because growing up around girls, you're treating them as friends, and then how do you
seal the deal in the other way?
Yeah, how do you go from friend to
romantic
when friend is your default?
Yeah,
I always put them on default.
Oh, so
this is another thing.
You're sort of used to being the friend.
So I would put myself in being friend as well with a lot of these people. Even when and then I would be like, oh, what is wrong with me or them or whatever. There's that side, but then also with males, I found later, I think I just didn't know how to connect.
So, and that's sort of like an experiential thing. You didn't have that.
Yeah, I didn't have when people doing footy and stuff at school, I never did it because I didn't like the guys there and I couldn't connect with them. So why would I like the sport, but I couldn't connect with the guys. So I didn't feel comfortable there.
So when you went overseas,
I don't know. There's just you have to make when you're in this new place. You have to make connections with anyone you can.
So it's sort of put you under the pressure.
Just go
fight or flight, sort of sink or swim. And
I don't know. For example, I've got 2 friends who moved to England from Australia as well, and so they're partners, and I was more friends with her before leaving, and I was friends with him, but I realized I went there visiting them probably 6 months ago, and I really connected with him,
because you've learned.
I was
you've developed the skill.
Yeah, it was really I was man, I'm getting there. I don't know. It's not it was so, and it was not that I was now more friends with him. I was equally
you've got the ability to connect with.
Yeah, and it's not losing the connection with her either. It's just
you've added another part of yourself.
Yeah, and
I really appreciate that because I find a lot of people that listen, they have trouble connecting with people of the opposite or the same gender, or they have trouble with making friends and trouble with all that sort of stuff. And to hear a story of someone that's come from a place of struggling with that connection to now not everyone has to go live in Sweden for 16 months to come back to be able to make friends, but it's more I feel like you put it down to it. You threw yourself in and you just tried.
You know,
Like, right?
But the thing is, before that, I probably put it on them as well.
Waiting for them to come.
No. Like, I'm not friends with them because I don't like them. They're weird. Like, they're too masculine. They're too what? Like, it's their personality.
Okay.
Like,
Also, you've now put it on yourself a bit more.
No, I look back and go, it was probably all me. Not all me.
That's what I
but,
mean.
you
So
know, like,
put
I've gone.
the issue.
It was, like, like, if I couldn't connect with these people and I was going, like, I didn't like these kids.
Oh,
and
so you were going, blaming this person, blaming that person, blaming the next person.
But it was probably because I couldn't relate to them.
See, I think people go through this thing where they, if you have a issue with one person, right? It could be them, it could be you.
Yeah.
But if you're having an issue with 5 people, chances are you're the common denominator in some capacity, right?
Yeah. But it wasn't like...
Not a bad way.
But I'm saying, like, it was also, like, I still had male friends, but it was just... They weren't the...
Closest.
No, wasn't the majority. It wasn't the typical males either.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. But you realised to put it back on yourself a little bit and see that it could be you, and now that you've come back...
No, I didn't even think of it before. I only thought about it later. I was like, gosh, like...
So
and when my friends in England, I was like, this specific person who, like, I liked him and this, but we weren't, like, super close, you know?
So you've now worked out a way to put it onto yourself to see that you can make a change. And you have changed. Yeah. And it's produced results. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that there's definitely something to be said by that. Yeah. That, you can, I suppose it took a detached view of your own life. Yeah. If you travel, you get to sort of step back from yourself almost and see, you're thrown in the deep end for one, and then you're also stepping back from yourself for 2. Yeah. And those 2 things together, you're forced to change. Yeah. And then you can see what you're changing from and what you need to change to. But
even during it, like, there were some friendships that I probably pushed too much and not enough, and look back and it's like, oh, it was a bit of an arsehole or whatever. Like, I put, not necessarily arsehole, but I put either too much in or not enough, and that forced this friendship to not go well. And I've grown for it. Like...
You've grown.
Yeah. Yeah. And I won't do the same thing with the next person, Yes. Like putting too much in one relationship, for example. I realised with, not everyone can give you everything either, You can't just put everything on one person, which I was doing at one point, especially in a situation where I had no one,
Sort of overwhelming the one person too much, and then
when they,
inevitably
a bit of their cultural influences, the background, they're not used to emotion as well. So for them, it was even more so. But this whole thing of neediness as well, like if you're overly needy in the like in a relationship where you need their attention, if you're too much that, you understand what I'm saying? Then they're feeling overwhelmed and feeling overpressured. They're going to pull back more. Yes. And at that time, I was like, why are they pulling back? And in retrospect, I was like, okay, I was putting too much in you and expecting too much for you. Obviously, you're going to freak out, especially when you're not comfortable with that. Yeah, as much as you want to.
So you realised that you were basically being too forceful with emotions, and that wasn't being reciprocated, and rather than the person reciprocating the way you wanted, they were running from it. In a sense. Yeah. Like realising, you just have to figure out this balance, though. But then, even after that, there was the reverse of that, which I realised recently, that one of my other friends, I started I was like, am I being, giving you too much? Am I expressing myself too much? Am I doing like, blah, 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 blah? And they're like, well, like, calm down. You don't have to tell me all this all the time. You can trust in, like, what we have, Like, it sounds like you've
really, like, I had opposite ends in some ways. And I started doubting myself again. I was like, are we actually, am I being am I being too forward or this? And it's like, he was like, come on, like, just feel it. You can feel when you're like this, and you can. You need to trust in something as well as, I don't know.
You've learned that
it was just
you're learning to find that middle ground in relationships.
And the thing is, like I said, this is what you learn a little bit from everyone. Like, one person teaches you too much, one less, one you're... Something like, it might be the smallest of things. It might be massive. But each relationship teaches you something for your next.
I like that approach.
And every person you come across, they give you a little bit of insight in their life, and you give a bit of insight in their life. You give back and forth on each side as well.
I like that. I want to wrap it up soon because we've been talking for a decent amount of time. I just wanted to address a couple of things. We brought up the book because before the podcast I wanted to ask you a couple of things. We brought up the book Vagabonding. I read that book, and I feel like you read it and then you were gone. Basically, it's basically a book that's sort of gives the inspiration and also some of the how-to of a vagabonding or traveling and sort of moving around and sort of immersing yourself in the culture sort of lifestyle. So I'll put
my
the links.
Bible.
Yeah, the Bible. Yeah. I would recommend people to read that book. And the second book that you described, and I think this is some of the relationship stuff that you're sort of talking about now, is you said Models by Mark Manson.
Yeah.
I haven't read that book yet. It's on my... I think I'll read it next.
Well, it's designed for males and about like masculinity in a modern society. The fact that, what is it supposed to be? Are we supposed to be the masculine guy, this, that? It's like... And how to approach women.
Helping relationship building, basically.
I mean, it's supposed to be approaching women, but I really took it as also like friends with males as well.
100%.
About that, as they talk about neediness of,
If you know how to approach a woman in a romantic relationship, you can approach a guy to have a beer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
exactly.
It's the next level.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. So I'll...
It's really... I recommend everyone, male, female, to read that book.
Models.
I mean, both of them.
Both of them. I'll put the links down below so people can check them out.
Yeah.
And I've only heard good things about Models, so I'm going to get into that as well.
And both on Audible or... anyway, like, I have them on Audible. I've also got the Vagabonding in the book. I think I need to get modelling on the book as well. just have everything. But
I like that. I really appreciate you letting me just impromptu...
Well,
thank you. Podcast. And I think, like I said, it's not about the purpose of this podcast isn't to say, hey, everyone go travel or live overseas or do anything like that. It's follow your dreams because, like I said, the change from you're so much more confident than you've been, and as you're describing, you've got just a change in your ability to form relationships and a passion towards just passion. Just. Like a goal direction, and it's something that I want everyone to be able to sort of work towards.
But the thing is, it's not something you find overnight,
of course,
and it's something that ever changes. It's just being able to, if I can help anyone to start looking or
start
trying, go like.
So basically, just start.
Yeah, and it's ever like I'm nowhere near the end. This is why I'm off again.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the continual seeking and the continual journey. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it. So thanks for listening. So if you enjoyed the podcast and would like to keep up to date with Fred's travels, you can connect with him on Instagram at TravelerFreddy. And I'll put the links to that, as well as the links to the two books mentioned, Models and Vagabonding, in the show notes below. So if you enjoyed this podcast, please consider supporting it. And there's a couple of ways that you can do so. The first one would be to recommend it to someone else, to review it wherever you're listening to it, and to talk about it in your blog or your podcast. If you want to support the podcast more directly, you could also consider purchasing one of my books, and I'll put the links below to that. Or if you really want to help me out, become a Patreon supporter. Patreon's a way that you can provide monthly contributions to content creators like myself as a way to help us to continue creating content. I'm only asking for $1 per month, which is the smallest amount, because basically I think that it will be unnoticeable on your end, but would make a massive difference on my end. So if you're interested in supporting me, I would greatly appreciate it. And as a small thank you, I would answer one of your questions as a podcast, blog, or video. So I'll put the links down below to that. And thank you.